Welcome back to the channel Gadgets for Gentlemen. It is late 2025 and you can still purchase this watch, the Citizen Promaster NY0040, for under 200 euros. I couldn't resist pulling the trigger. I owned the Citizen Promaster watches in the past alongside the Seiko SKX models, and I decided to purchase the watch again. I purchased it at Lucas Dive Store in the Netherlands, and let's have a closer look. Here we can see the reference number. This is the NY0040-09EC. I think this version is part of the European market. As we can see, the watch, the outer box is a little bit damaged in the postage. Now let's have a closer look. The watch that I'm wearing today is the Tudor Pelagos FXD. I purchased the Citizen watch because I wanted something very simple on my wrist for day-to-day activities when I don't want something expensive on the wrist, but still want something analog by comparison to something like a G-Shock that looks super casual. I wanted something a little bit more dressy, but something very affordable. So I went with the Citizen Promaster because this is one of the iconic watches, the design from the 90s. This is really something timeless. So we have the flask inside of the paper outer box, and we have some papers. Let's have a closer look. Okay, this is warranty. The watch was also available on Amazon, but it was a bit more expensive. That's why I went with this local watch dealer, and I did purchase from them previously. So 2-year warranty, and here we have the beautiful flask, which is, I think, not something you will get with every Citizen purchase. In some of the purchases of some of the retailers, it just comes in a paper box, but I really like this little gadget that looks like an oxygen tank for diving. Very fitting to this watch. Now let's have a closer look. Let me try to open this flask, and there we have it. I really like it so far. I can see that the watch dealer did apply some protection to the crystal, so that is great. Let me hold it like so and show you the bottom part of the flask. Here it reads Citizen, and let me just take out this little pillow. There we have it. We have a nice pillow. We have the Citizen watch strap, which is a rubber band urethane material. This is the reference NY0040-09E with the updated caliber, the 8204 instead of the 8203. What is updated with this movement? Now we have not only hand winding, but we also have hacking. So that is a great feature for setting the time precisely. So let me remove this sticker. And let's have a closer look. I'm gonna put the Tudor to the side for now. We can do a size comparison later. We have the Omega Seamaster here also on the left. Now let's have a closer look. Let me take off this little tag. So that is the tag. Let me put it aside for now. Wow, that looks really good. That is exactly how I remember the watch to look like. And as we can see, the watch is already running. We have a day and date window at the 3 o'clock. Now let's go quickly over the most important specs of this watch. This watch is marketed towards men. The gender is male. The caliber is the 8204. And what is funny is I think the movement is mentioned here on the back of the watch, 8204. But when I zoom in on the dial, let me demonstrate it. Now I'm zoomed in all the way. I think on the bottom part of the dial it reads 8203. The watch movement on the watch dial does not correspond with the case back, where it reads 8204. We have automatic movement. I already hear the rotor spinning, as you can hear with the microphone. That is the noisy rotor with this automatic watch. We have an accuracy of plus minus 20 seconds a day, and in my experiences these movements, Miyota movements, are very accurate. We have a power reserve of 42 hours. We have a black glossy dial, so we don't have matte, but we have a beautiful piano black or glossy dial, which is really amazing. The dial, it features round applied hour markers, as well as what Citizen calls 4 strokes. So we have a different shape in the 12, in the 6, 9 and 3 o'clock position. Those are a little bit different compared to those round hour markers. We have a crystal glass, unfortunately no sapphire, so this might scratch. I did own a Citizen watch in the past that had some light scratches, and I don't even recall how I damaged the watch. So you do gotta be careful with scratching the mineral crystal. We have a round case shape. The case material is stainless steel, and it has a beautiful silver touch. We have a combination of beautiful high polish and brushed areas. So it is actually quite lovely in my opinion. We have a screw down crown, which is located at the 8 o'clock position that we can see right here. The crown is not marked, unlike for example the Omega that has the Omega logo, and also as we can see most of the crowns are positioned at the 3 o'clock position, but with the Citizen the crown is located at 8 o'clock. The bottom is screwed, as we can see right here, and on the back of the case we have some very simple decoration. We can see Promaster, Citizen, Divers Watch 200 meters, Japan movement, stainless steel, and we can see the watch movement A204. We have a unidirectional rotating bezel that has these grooves even so often, and in between we have these flat surface. So these grooves you can really easily rotate even when you're wearing gloves, for example. And the bezel, it has a little bit of back play, as we can see right here. It's not that sturdy, but it's very easy to rotate this bezel with those very thick grooves. I would say it's much easier compared to, for example, the Omega, that is just a little bit more difficult to find a way to turn that dive bezel, as we can see right here. With the Tudor Pelagos FXD, we also have some very beautiful grooves, not as deep as the Citizen, as we can see right here. And unlike the Citizen, the Tudor Pelagos, you can rotate in 2 different directions, so that's bidirectional. With the Citizen, we can only turn the bezel in one direction, which is anti-clockwise, as we can see right here. And the beauty of that bezel is you can use it for timing certain things. And in my opinion, my first impression is that the bezel actually is aligned quite well, in my opinion. Sometimes with some other dive watches, the bezel and the pip is very off of the minutes that we can see in that inner dial. 200 meters of water resist, or 20 bars. We have a diameter of 42 millimeters, which I think is the same as with the Tudor Pelagos FXD that also has that 42 millimeters dimension. We have a height of only 12 millimeters, so a thickness of only 12 millimeters from the bottom to the top, which is quite slim, especially when you compare it to a watch, for example, like the Omega, which is I think over 13 millimeters from the bottom to the top. I think it's like 13 and a half or something along those metrics. But then the Omega is 300 meters water resist and the Citizen is only 200 meters. Weight on this strap is 94 grams. The strap color is also black. I think it's very fitting with the watch layout. We have a pin buckle, as you can see right here. And as we can see right here, the buckle is not signed, so no logos whatsoever. And we have 2 adjustable keepers. And as we can see, we have plenty of strap holes, so it should fit your wrist without any issues. And it has a lug width of 20 millimeters, so that makes it really much a strap monster, just like the Omega that also has that 20 millimeter lug width. Now let's throw it on the wrist. There we go. My wrist size is 6.3 inches. And let's have a closer look. I'm not a fan of this stock rubber strap. For me, I think it's quite stiff. So what I usually do is carefully remove the case from the rubber strap and throw it on some NATO straps. That is quite a bit more comfortable. But I don't dislike the look of this rubber strap. It's a nice strap. But I prefer throwing this on a NATO strap. And because of the case thickness of only 12 millimeters, I don't really care about 2 layers of fabric with a NATO strap underneath, because it has quite a slim profile on the wrist, as we can see right here. So this is what it looks like on a 6.3 inches wrist. And as we can see, with being a 42 millimeter watch, it actually wears quite nice. And I think that also has to do with quite a short lug-to-lug distance. As we can see, that lug-to-lug distance is quite a bit shorter compared to the Omega that has quite a longer lug-to-lug distance, and especially compared to the Tudor Pelagos FXD that has, as we can see, quite a long lug-to-lug distance, making the watch, the Citizen watch, for smaller wrist, much better wearable. We have the crown at the 8 o'clock screw down. Let me bring it to the neutral position. Then when I flip the watch upside down, I can easily hand wind it clockwise, like so. And this way we can charge the movement. Let me bring it to the microphone. So that was some hand winding. And now the beauty of the movement should be, if this is really the A204, when we pull out the crown completely, the seconds, they should stop ticking. And that way we can really set the time very precisely. So what I usually do is I wait for the 12 o'clock position and then pull the crown. Let's see if that works. See, I pull the crown and the second hand stops running, and now we can bring the minute hand and hour hand to the right position. Here we can already see a date change at about 11 p.m. and we can see that the date changed at about a quarter before midnight. And we can see after midnight that the day of the week starts to change from Monday. It changes to the second language, which is in this particular model, in this market, it's French. So English and French. We can read lune for lundi. And then when we keep changing, we had a day of the week change at about 2 a.m. we can read Tuesday. Then at about 7 o'clock I can align the minute hand. Then we can press the crown again and the time starts running again. I bring the crown back to the neutral position and screw it back in, as we can see right here. And now the watch is ready to be worn. Overall, for a sub €200 watch, I think it's a great pick. So thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Have a fantastic day and see you soon.